Hello, brother sewing and crafting family. Angela Wolf here, and it's like the countdown to Christmas, so I have my elf hat, and I'm laughing with Emily because we both have something special for you. So welcome, say hi, say where you're from. We are live streaming on the Brothers Sewing Facebook and YouTube channels. Tell us what you're making, by the way. I am so busy making gift bags, last minute gifts. I don't know about you, but it seems I'll plan this in July, and now it's now. Thankfully for the machines, I can embroider a lot of stuff really fast. So, all right, I think we're rolling and you can hear. Sorry about yesterday's show. On my channel, there was like no sound, but I was like in the air, so I couldn't help. But today we have sound, and let's bring up Emily. She's got a super, super fun project. Hey, Emily.
Hi, everyone.
Great to see you. Look at your hat.
Here with my bells on this morning and ready to sew.
And your lights, I like it a lot. I have my sparkles on. I'm working with glitter again. So, I mean, I might as well just be glittered for the rest of the season because that seems to be the trend.
Absolutely. The other day, one of my boys came home from school and he was like, "Why is there glitter on your face?" Well, I was making some things today and they were glittery. Pretty much everything seems to be glittery right now.
It's kind of like our job descriptions should say from like December 1st through New Year's.
Yes, have glitter.
Beware.
Have glitter.
So what are you doing today? Because it's super cute, and I don't know if I put it in the description, but just in case somebody's just rolling in.
Yes, and actually I will at some point here grab the link to the project on my site and stick it in the comments when I get a chance. But and I actually should have gotten more organized and grabbed a pair from my daughter's drawer. But today we are making PJ pants, and this is always such an easy and fun sewing project. And when someone asks, you know, for a great beginner sewing project, this is always something I recommend because they really are so simple to sew. We're going to add just a little bit extra pizzazz to our pair today, but you totally don't have to. You could absolutely keep this really simple, and they turn out so fabulous. So today I am using my free sewing pattern, which is family PJs, and they come in sizes like 2-ish. You know, PJ pants are, I feel like, not really, you know, an estimate of size because they're just loose pants, but 2-ish through extra large adults, and all of the sizes in between. So I've made our whole family PJ pants before using this pattern, and they're just easy and comfy and so great for making matching PJ pants or just a single pair as we are today. So I'm going to make the smallest size because it's always easier to demonstrate on something that is a size 2 than something that is a size 20. It just is easier to show. So maybe my niece will wear these. I'm actually not sewing these with a super specific person in mind, so I'm not going to do the elastic, but we'll talk about the elastic because I might want to fit these to my niece when I see her next week. So that's what we're sewing. I'm excited. It's going to be great, and it is a super fun beginning sewing project.
I love this. And you know, I think I better text my mom during this because last year she made all of, well, her grandchildren pajama pants, and they were all like too tall, too big. So you said you could do this project in like less than 30 minutes. Mom, I'm going to text you because you're going to have to watch this when you do the pajamas for this year.
Yes. Well, I mean, even you say it's simple, but then, you know, my mom starts getting into, she sews every year for the grandkids pajamas, and you do have to still measure the kids because not everyone is a standard size. And so she'll get, you know, waist measurements, and then you do the inseam or the out seam. Sometimes I think with pajama pants, the outer of the leg is the better measurement because the inseam, the crotch is low on pajama pants. So that's not really a super accurate measurement. So you still have to measure. If you have the kids in your house, obviously it's so easy. Slide them on, then hem them at the appropriate length, and that's simple. When you're sewing for someone you're not with, yes, you have to pre-plan a little bit and kind of organize with some measurements. But once you figure out the system, I do still feel like it's really easy to crank these out for everybody.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Well, I'll let you take it away. I'll watch the comments. Don't forget, you all, that we can all see you. We are live, and you can ask away. I'll take little breaks for her.
Okay, sounds great. So let me show you what I cut out and then I will get sewing. So I wanted to use this really cute flannel. So this pattern was designed with flannel in mind. And so I had just a scrap of this gorgeous flannel left from a project, I don't know, several years ago. But I didn't have enough, the full length of it, to cut out the whole PJ pants. So the fun thing about these PJ pants is it's simply a single pattern piece. It's the leg, and there's a front, and there's a back, and you just sew up the inseam and add elastic and a hem. That's why it's such a simple project. So I traced out my size on here, and then I realized, okay, I don't have enough flannel to fit the entire piece lengthwise on my flannel. So what I did was I went ahead and folded over the top about 1.5 inches of the pattern, and then I cut a separate waistband. So we save length on that, and I had this fun orange fabric that coordinates pretty well, also in a flannel. And so I do have my elastic here. And when you're cutting a waistband, you want to make sure that it's double the width of the elastic plus a seam allowance. So this one is 2 3/4 inches wide, which I'm going to be able to then fold in half and sew along the top of those pants. Okay, so I saved myself some length there. And then this is actually something I love to do on pants, no matter what kind I'm making, and that is to add a cuff instead of the bottom hem. It's even easier for beginners because you don't have to hem anything. You're just adding a cuff. And so I cut 2 leg cuffs, and these are the width from side to side of the bottom of the PJ leg. And then you can make it however tall you want. I was determining how tall I needed it based on how short my fabric was. So when I laid out my pattern piece, the flannel stopped here. And so I'm just extending my fabric by using this cuff. And of course it's a cuff as in it's folded. So it's double the height that I need. And I already have it folded over. So this is a fold here on the bottom. And so we won't have to hem it. So you could also just piece different fabrics together and then still hem it, but I like to have it folded over and use it as a cuff. So
hey, Emily, just
yes.
couple quick questions on that, and a few people were asking, and this is so true. What you're doing there when you said you could piece it, well, actually, if you had pajamas that didn't fit from last year, or
yes.
you grow out of them, you could add a couple pairs together, which is great. But Lorraine wanted to know, is there any special flannel you use, or just regular flannel? Or
so I just use regular flannel, and I don't know if we can talk about this. I think we can, but stop me if we can't. So most of the flannel that you will buy in the store says not for sleepwear. And I've seen tons of discussions about this in sewing groups online. People say, I bought this flannel, I was going to make matching pajama pants, but it says not for sleepwear. What do I do? And that is just, they legally have to put that on there because technically sleepwear either has to be flame retardant, which flannel is not, or it has to be super tight fitting, which flannel PJs aren't, and to sell it. But if you're not selling it, if you're just making it for your kids, people sleep in flannel pants. My bell is ringing. People sleep in flannel pants, and I just choose to sew with it. But so it is just flannel from like the store.
Right. And if somebody's worried about that, just grab some cotton or something. You'll be fine. But thank you for that description, because this has come up, I want to say 3 times in the last month. And I knew that legally that stores and companies that make those have to put that on there. But when you're sewing, it's your choice. So leave it at that, and we're good.
Yeah. And so if you have an Etsy store or something, you're definitely want to use compliant fabric. But if you're just sewing for your kids or your family or to give away, then you're not bound by those same laws and regulations. So
awesome. And Etsy is no affiliation of Brother, but you all know what she's talking about. So
right. Yeah, if you're selling online, we'll just say that. Okay, so I am going to add a little decorative stitch on this cuff before I sew it onto the pajama leg. And so what I want to do is the fold is here. And what I really want is my decorative stitch, I want it to be about 1 inch or 1/2 inch above that fold. So I'm going to take a couple of pins and stick them into that fold. So I have the middle marked, okay? Because then I want to be able to open up this fabric so that the back of the stitching is not seen. It'll be hidden inside this cuff. Okay, so hopefully I didn't catch too many layers of fabric. Okay, but if I open this up now, I have the middle marked with pins, and it is kind of a crease, so I'll be able to see that, and then I can place that in my machine, and we're gonna add the decorative stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the close-up camera so that you can really see how the machine is creating. I'm just doing like a little loopy one, which is one of the built-in decorative stitches on here, and it's just really fun for adding just a tiny touch to your project.
Sounds great. I'll see her in just a second. She's swapping her cameras over. I saw somebody asking, did we make our hats? Well, I have to confess, I did not. In fact, mine was an impulse buy, along with 4 other little hats. Since we have live shows from now all the way through the holidays, I had to have something fun, right? And plus, I think we should have these all year. When you're having a really bad hair day, it would be fantastic. What do you think, Emily?
Yes. Just plunk it on. I'm generally not a hat person, but I probably, because just with my curly hair, it's not always very convenient to like plunk a hat over it, but I'm kind of liking this today. And no, I did not make it. I bought it because tomorrow my kids have like a Christmas in July theme day, which I was like, what is that? What do you even wear? And they were like, Santa hats, flip-flops, and Hawaiian shirts. And I'm like, I got none of that, but I can get you a hat. So I bought some hats yesterday when I saw them. They were cheap, inexpensive, but now actually my husband went to school wearing one today and I'm wearing one. So the kids aren't even wearing them.
We're in theme.
All right. So you can see here that I have the fabric under the presser foot. I'm going to sew on the left side of my middle marker, and we're going to see how this decorative stitch stitches out on here. So I have green thread, which is also one of the colors in that print flannel that I'm using. And I have just a loopy loop cute design on there that I'm using. And now after I'm stitching it a little bit, I'm realizing I probably wanted to lengthen the stitch a little bit to get those loops possibly a little farther apart, but that's okay. It's still going to be cute. It's going to be great. This is probably why you should do a test swatch, which I'm not always good at, but it is really fun. I'm just letting it pull through. The only thing I'm doing is guiding it along to try and keep it going straight. I have my pins here, but I also can see the crease in that fabric because I did have it folded for a little bit. So I kind of like being able to sew pretty speedy along here. Just let it do its thing. You want to make sure you're not really holding on too strongly to the fabric when you're sewing these decorative stitches, because the fabric is actually going back and forth. It's not all just a forward motion. There is some back motion, and depending on the stitch you're doing, there might even be some, sort of sideways motion. So just let the machine do its thing, kind of stay out of the way, but just guide it through straight. And we should be able to zip along here. I'll show you when I'm finished. This one is turning out really cute, and you can see just how fast that actually was. I'll just do a little bit of doesn't really back stitch on a decorative stitch, but it will do a locking stitch. If you, cut my thread, if you push the back stitch button. So there you have, so you can see it's loopies, and actually this almost looks like an overlocker, looper stitch. I was hoping it more would just look like loops. So that's why I'm saying, oh shoot, I should have lengthened the stitch so the loops were farther apart, but actually it looks cute, and this is going to be really fun on the bottom of our pajamas. So let's go ahead and do the other cuff while we are here at this machine. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew a lot of this, except for maybe one little part on the waistband, with, I'm trying to think, do I need to make these like opposites? In my head, I don't think so, because I'm just going to sew them back onto the loop is facing down towards, I guess I just do the same thing. Sorry, got to think out loud as I'm going.
I like that stitch, Emily. It almost looks like a cover stitch.
Yeah, it really does. It's super cute, and it actually sews really quickly. So some of these decorative stitches do take a few minutes to stitch out, because they're going back and forth and around, or there's some really cute like cross stitch looking ones. It's just kind of a fun way to add without having any fancy embroidery or having to switch over anything. Just add a little decorative stitch, and you can do this on a hem, on a cuff. I've often just done decorative hems on some of my daughter's skirts or dresses, just to add a little touch to the outfit. So so I'm just gonna stitch along the second one. I didn't put pins in this one because I can actually just see the fold line really well, so I'm using that as my guide instead of putting those pins in there.
Hey, Emily, what sewing machine are you on right now?
What'd you say?
What sewing machine are you on right now?
So this is the 5200.
5200. I saw somebody just pop in. There you go.
Yep, so that's what I'm using. It's my current favorite machine. Well, probably a tie with the serger because I use them both, but all right, so remember when you do get to the end, to do a little back stitch or a locking stitch, we are gonna sew these ends will be sewn into the seam as we connect the cuff, but just wanna make sure that stitch isn't gonna come out. So there's the second one, again, using the green thread, which is gonna look really cute when we are putting it up with the other fabric that has these colors in it. Okay. So I'm going to switch back to the other camera, Angela, if you want to. Should be a pretty quick transition because it's the faster camera.
All right. While she's switching, I can see I'm definitely making my own of this next year out of a really soft fabric. This is like someone just said ugly hats versus ugly sweaters. I agree. But next year we should maybe make these, Emily. I think we should.
Yes, that would be fun. Let's do like we could do a hat making day
challenge. That sounds fantastic. Yeah. And I'm going to use some really soft, actually that flannel you have might feel really good.
Yes. I think that would actually be really cute. Yes, that would be a good hat fabric.
Hey, Crystal, her pattern is on her website. She's going to drop a link here. And I will bring up her website at the end here as well. I'll bring it up right now while she's switching cameras. You can see it. LifeSoSavory.com. It's on there, and she'll leave a link here for you as well. And if you watched from the beginning, she kind of talked through that too.
Okay, so let me see if we are set up over here. I want you guys
there you are.
Sorry, I want you to be able to really see how this project sews up so easily on the serger. So we'll get kind of a close-up over here. Okay, I'm actually going to take off my hat since you can't even see my head at the moment.
Yes. So I can hear your bells.
Yes, I know. Jingle, jingle. All right, so on the serger, we can actually sew up so much of this project, which is my favorite. And so the first thing I'm going to do is put these cuffs into a circle. Now, I know they will fit on the bottom of my pants, knock on wood, because I used the bottom of the pants pattern as the guide to sew this. So it should just be a simple exchange from a hem to this. And what I want to make sure I do is catch these decorative stitches in my new seam so that they don't unravel at all as we're going along and as this is getting worn. So just going to match up. I'm going to sew the short ends of the cuff, although it's not actually overly too short because my cuff is so tall. But we're just going to, why is it not feeding through? Of course, the serger will mess up today. There it goes. I just used it, so it's got to behave. All right, so we're sewing it through, and then we'll be able to fold this in half. And once we get the legs of the flannel pants sewed into a circle, then it'll be easy to add this cuff onto the bottom. So now we can fold. I'll show you how this cuff is going to look. Little cuff preview. And
that's cute.
It does just add, it almost looks like it has a hem on the bottom, but it really doesn't because we just have this folded fabric. But that is
Emily, that's brilliant, because I know that there are a lot of brother fans who have not added the cover stitch to their sewing room yet.
Yeah.
It's on the bucket list, but
right.
that looks exactly like it's a hem, and that's really cute.
Yeah. So it just adds a little flair to the bottom of your pants when, you know, we are just doing this simple. Maybe you don't have an embroidery machine, you know, but you can still just add a little decorative touch. And whether it's on a cuff like this, whether it's on the end of a sleeve, you know, there really are a lot of ways to use this and add those touches. And a lot of the machines do have built in quite a few decorative stitches that are just these sort of little designs. So you don't need a fancy machine to even have access to some of these stitches like this either. All right, so we'll fold this one out. This one, got to fold it this way. Find which way. Oh, I didn't. All right, so this one I didn't do a super great job starting and stopping at the same spot, but we'll put that on the inner leg. And this is the one I didn't mark as well, so maybe I should have kept it marked. Lesson learned. Okay, so now we are going to the flannel, and you're just gonna see how super simple it is to put these PJs together. And especially if this was all one piece like the pattern was originally, the waistband is actually built in, you just fold it over. The bottom is just fold up a hem, and you literally have two pieces of fabric. We have a little bit more because we're adding that waistband and the cuffs. But again, it depends on how much fabric. But this is just an idea to give you if you don't have as much fabric or you're piecing scraps together. Or like Angela said, you have PJs from last year and they're way too short. Just go ahead and find some coordinating fabric and add cuffs. You know, you can cut off the hem or the cuff, whatever was on there originally, and add a new one. And this is just a really great way to give more length to some pants. I've done this with leggings, my daughter's leggings. Sometimes, you know, she's still wearing them, but they're this far off the ankle. It's like, pull your socks off, your ankles will freeze. It's like capri leggings all the time. And you can just go ahead and add a cuff. And whether if they were solid leggings, sometimes I'll add a print for the cuff. Or if I sewed the leggings, I often have scraps of the fabric left over. So cuffs are a really great way to be able to add extra life, especially to kids' clothes when they're growing up and not always out every year and just getting really tall. Okay, so what I've done is sew the inseam on both pant legs, okay? And you can tell here on the top which is the front and which is the back. The front of pants is lower, and also the back is a bigger scoop. So those are two things that you want to look for, knowing which is front and back. If you didn't mark it, or in the middle of sewing, you're like, oh, my pin fell out. Sometimes I'll mark like the back with a pin while I'm going through the process. But these are really easy to tell which are which. And then also if you're adding the cuff, you want to make sure that that inseam seam ended up even. Right? So if the back or the front were a little bit long, depending on how you cut your fabric, and sometimes I add length and I don't always measure, I just sort of add a couple inches at the bottom when I'm cutting it out. And so when I do sew it, it wasn't perfect. So this would be the time to trim along there and make sure that this is now a flat matching edge, because we're going to put the cuff right on there. And actually, I think I'm going to sew the cuffs on these before I sew the pant legs together. So you want to grab your cuff and you're going to sew right sides together. So this is my right side of the cuff with the decorative stitching. The back, remember, doesn't show any of that. We enclosed it into the cuff. And then the right side of my fabric obviously is this print. So I should be able to just slide this cuff into the pant leg, and we're going to line up the seam of the inseam of the cuff with the inseam of the pant. And that's that inner leg is a better spot to hide a seam or any imperfections that you might have had. Sorry, I don't have any clips over here.
Hey, Emily, just a couple quick questions. Some people are asking about that decorative stitch you have. Do you want it to show or not show?
Do I want what to show?
That decorative stitch you did on that cuff?
Yes. Yes. So that's going to be the outside of the cuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm adding that for decorative detail in a contrasting color on purpose. But if you don't want that, their sequins for my hat are like all over here. So
here we go again. So just real quick before you serge that,
yes,
will you pull that cuff out again so they can see which way to put it in? Because
yes, absolutely.
Someone was asking, how do you know that you're going to be able to see it?
I know. Okay, so like other steps in sewing, when we say right sides together, that means the right side of the cuff, which is with the decorative stitch, because I want to be able to see that. So this is the right side of my cuff, and this inside here, right, this is the wrong side where it's a faded print, and then the vibrant print, that is the right side of the flannel pants. So if we put those right sides touching each other in here, then when I fold it out, they both should be showing, right? That's usually what I'm thinking in my head. And different projects, you don't always put the right side together, but on this one, we are gonna do that with the cuff. And if you didn't put any stitching on the cuff, if you just were adding cuffs, then it really wouldn't matter, because the cuffs in general, both are the right sides, right? Because it doesn't really matter which side of the cuff is sticking out. Okay, so there's one. We're just gonna sew this so I can show you that it is indeed the right side that will be out, and then we'll pin or clip and put in the other cuff as well. So this is the smallest size pant, and it still is pretty easy to sew this cuff in because it's a nice wide leg, so we're not working with like a tiny little cuff hole. But if I am working with, if I were making like doll pajamas or something where it's really too hard to get in here because it's such a small circle, I know you've seen me do this before, but I really like sewing it while it's open and flat before I sew that inseam and bring things together. So that's another way to do it too, especially if this is your very first time sewing pajama pants and you want to try the cuff. It does make it easier to sew the cuff to the pant while they're both a flat piece of fabric rather than this circle. All right, so let's open this up, take a look and see. So there.
So cute.
Cuff. And this is probably a little bit longer cuff than I would normally. I probably would normally have like a 3-inch cuff proportions. But again, I was trying to keep this fabric and being able to use it. And I also need a long enough leg. So, you know, that's just adding on there what I need to do. But I still think it looks really cute.
That's adorable. That's adorable. And you know, when you show that now, Emily, now it really makes sense for someone who's like, okay, my pajamas are too short, but or for my kids or my own, actually, then you could take just extra fabric and just piece it together and add a cuff. And as long as it matched, it would look like it's supposed to be that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So these aren't even the same, you know, the same fabrics, but they're it's pretty close to that orange matching up in there.
By the way, Emily, someone wanted to know, is that orange that you have, is that flannel as well, or is that fleece? Did you combine them too?
It is flannel, but I have sewed these pajamas out of fleece as well, and they're really cozy too. I've used the same pattern and done it with fleece.
Great.
One thing I didn't mention before, but hopefully is somewhat intuitive, is that the bottom of the cuff, where we want to be, you know, at the floor, at the bottom of the leg, that goes into the leg first, and then and right sides together, and then I'm matching up all the raw edges. So the raw edge of the pant, and then the 2 raw edges of the cuff. That is what I'm matching up here and sewing together. So don't sew that folded edge into your seam, or your cuff will be on upside down. So just be thinking about that, especially if you haven't sewn a lot of cuffs. We want all that raw edge of the fabric to be included in here. And flannel does fray like crazy, so you do need to make sure that in the end of your project, all of these raw edges are in a seam or hemmed or finished with a zigzag, because if you leave a raw flannel edge and you wash it, it will just fray to bits. So you can just
it'll
solve
blend it
that
with all the
by
glitter on
using
the
a
floor.
serger or a zigzag stitch. If you were sewing this on your sewing machine, which you absolutely could, you do not need any special stitch. You could just go ahead and sew the whole project using a straight stitch, because flannel doesn't have any stretch. So I don't actually need this to be a stretchy. There is no stretch here in this fabric. So I like using the serger because, like I said, it also finishes that raw edge and we don't have any fraying. If you wanted to use a sewing machine, I would use a straight stitch and then go back over with a zigzag to finish the edge, or the faux overlocker or something, just to make sure that these seams aren't going to fray a lot. All right, so then we'll pull this leg out, but we'll need to put it back in. So there's the second cuff. Okay, cute. The bottom, the inseam seams are matched up there, and now we're ready to put this together. So I'm actually going to turn this one back inside out, because just like on the cuff, we want to put the pants right sides together on the legs. So I'm going to put one leg inside the other, tuck it inside here, and then you're going to just match up and make sure that the front crotch seams are matching, touching each other, and the back ones are also. And so if you match up the top of that inseam and then see, oh, that's the same height, then I know that it's put together correctly, because the back is definitely a couple inches or at least a full inch taller than the front. And so if I had it matched up wrong, they would not line up like they're lining up. So just gonna put a couple clips in there to hold this. Okay, and then we're gonna sew this U shape here, which will attach the pant legs and put the pants together. Okay, so you can start on either side that you want and just sew that U together. That's that front and back seam that goes down the center of your pants. Uh-oh, the tail is caught around. I don't know if my having trouble getting started here, which I don't remember last time I was using it. All right, well, one of these days this serger is getting up there in years, so it might give me more trouble. It's been so reliable, I don't even think about it, but. Okay, I'm going to go over this part where I started that it was just giving me a little
Sorry,
trouble.
Emily, I didn't realize I was muted. Are you using 4 thread overlock or 3?
I'm using a 4. Yep.
Okay,
and
thanks.
I'm just going to re-sew this seam where it got a little bit stuck to make sure that it's a good secure seam, because that just did not feel really great in there. So I'm just going to re-sew over it, make sure that looks good. I do still have light color thread on there, which is actually perfect for these pajamas. And now we can pull the pants apart. Oh my goodness, it actually looks so cute once I get it together. All right, so I know you're up close right now, but I'm gonna sew on the waistband, and then I'll go back to the wide angle camera, and you'll get to really get a view of this whole thing, and I'll do the final sort of, well, I guess I didn't really have to do much on the sewing machine because I'm using this waistband. Okay, so now just let me note if I had cut the full pattern piece out of one, if I was making the one piece pattern as it's written, at this point you would fold over like 1.25 inches a waistband, stitch it, and then thread your elastic through. But before I would sew that, I would finish this raw edge of the flannel. So what I would do is I would usually just serge around there. Then I would go over to my sewing machine, stitch it over, and thread the elastic through. But we are adding this waistband because we did not have enough fabric. Okay, so I just cut a strip of fabric and I actually didn't even cut it to the right length. So let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm gonna fold this over to measure along the top here and then cut the waistband to be the correct width. Now the front dips a little bit lower, so I always make sure that I cut my waistband just a tiny bit wider than straight across. Okay, so I see someone asking a question about sizing. Do you see that one, Angela?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Lorraine, I did want to stop you because you kind of touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
But Lorraine really sums it up though. Like, what do you ask mom to measure?
Yeah. So the two measurements that I always think are the best for this particular pattern, because it's not fitted, is you want, just sewing that waistband together, you want to get a, I call it sort of it's not a true waist and it's not a hip measurement, but sort of around the belly button area is where this waist will sit on a kid or even an adult. You know, it's not high-waisted, it's not low-waisted, it's sort of mid-waisted. So I always ask for that measurement, like right around the belly button area. And then I always ask for this outer seam measurement, this out seam. So that would be from where that belly button measurement is on the child, that mid-waist, down to their ankle or the top of their foot or wherever you want this cuff or the hem to sit on their outer leg. Because this is loose, right? This is not, like an inseam is not a great measurement. So around that middle waist and then down the outside of their leg. And I think with those two measurements, you could pretty successfully sew pajamas for someone that's not with them. Those are the measurements that I usually get.
That explains it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so hopefully that answers the question and makes it pretty easy. All right, so I am matching up the fold of my waistband here with the back of the pants. I think it was the back. Yeah, the back of the pants, which is the higher of the two seams that we just sewed. And then we are matching all the raw edges again, just like on that cuff. 2 of the waistband, 1 of the pants. So I have 3 raw edges that I'm lining up here. And I'm just working my way around the top of the pants. And then we're gonna quick sew this waistband on. This orange doesn't really have a front or a back side of the fabric. So I didn't really worry about where it was when I folded. And then you also want to make sure that you leave a couple inches after you have sewn this waistband on to thread the elastic through. Okay, so don't get too excited and sew all the way around this, or you'll be sad because then you can't put your elastic in. All right, so let's just sew this down. Actually, I don't really want to start here. I want to leave my hole in the back, so I want to start in the back. And then also if you're adding a tag or something like that to the back of the pajama pants, you could do that in this waistband seam, or you can always add it after too. My mom always puts buttons on the kids' pajama pants to show what's the front, but sometimes I find that confusing because usually tags are in the back, but she likes to put a button right in the front of their pajamas to show them which is the front and which is the back. So different ways to mark your pajamas, especially for kids who don't always have a great awareness of like, what's the front, what's the back. Okay, so you can leave a 2 or 3 inch opening there to be able to thread the elastic through. And I will just show you real quickly how I thread the elastic, but like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not gonna cut it because I actually need the measurement of this child to be able to finish this. So I'm going to switch over to the bigger camera, and then I'll go the wider camera so you can.
Sounds good. While you're doing that, I just found you all are mentioning how fun this would be for cool gifts. So So I just found this super sparkly fabric. My sister's twins are 4, and everything has to have bling on it. I swear, I think we're definitely related, Emily. We're definitely related. So I'm telling you, when I just found this, I thought this would make the cutest pair of pajama pants, or just like little pajama pants to run around the house in. I mean, not necessarily sleep. That would kind of make your bed messy. But they're really soft on the inside. I think I'm going to make your same thing out of this.
Yes. That is really, really adorable. I absolutely love that fabric, and it's perfect for this time of year. Perfect. So
yes. And also somebody was just saying, was it Crystal? I think, sorry, it rolled through. Yeah, Crystal said, I've never made clothes before. This is so easy. I can try it. So yes, you can watch this over. You're on Facebook. So if you share it to your page, that's the easiest. YouTube seems to be more reliable lately for watching videos, but you can also go to YouTube and then play it there as well. So
it is easy. And this fabric, if you've done like crafty projects with quilting cotton, is more similar to that kind of fabric. In fact, you could make these pajamas from quilting cotton. In the summer, I use this same PJ pants pattern, and I make it from like vintage sheets or things like that for my daughter and I, for just really light, airy summer PJs. And I use the same pattern. Sometimes I cut it like a capri length to make it a little more summery, but it works with different fabrics as well. So those are just some great options, and make it really easy to get started sewing clothes. All right, so again, I'm not going to put the exact elastic in because I do need a measurement from my niece, but look at how cute these are. They are just so adorable, and I need to figure out where I got this fabric from because, well, it's so old now, I probably will never get it again, but I do think it's still so cute. I would actually love more of it. It's one of those I wish I got more of. And I was just, as I held this up, realizing that when I cut it, I did not intentionally cut it right side up, but it is right side up. So lucky me, because I was too focused on how much I was trimming off the waistband and the cuff, and I didn't think about the directional fabric, but it's really directional, and I got lucky. So yay, yay me. We could have had upside down pants. So I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to use a long piece of elastic, but just really quickly to show you kind of how to finish this project, you would take a large safety pin or your elastic threader. I have this bodkin, and secure the elastic in there. And then you just go ahead and thread the elastic all the way around your pajama pants, okay, all the way around, pulling it through the casing. You do want to make sure that it's laying flat in the casing. And then especially when you get all the way around, make sure there's no twist before you sew the ends of the elastic together. So once you get all the way back around, you would take the two ends of the elastic together. And then I usually on my sewing machine, just with like a zigzag, sew those raw ends together, and I like to overlap them. So it's a pretty flat seam on there. Overlap them and then pull it inside the casing fully. And then you would go ahead and close up the hole. So you would lay, this is my opening here, lay it all, those 3 layers back together, and then just sew that hole closed. And then you would have your finished PJs. And so it is nice to tell the back because there's this seam in the waistband. So you can use that to mark the back. Like I said, you can add a tag. There's a few options for marking that in there. And then I do usually tack the elastic to the waistband, like on the side seams. And that just prevents any rolling or twisting of the elastic, like when this is in the wash. So I would like lay it out like this, and then I would just do a straight stitch up and down on the side seams. And maybe on the back seam because you already have a seam, but I definitely usually don't sew on the front because then it keeps that nice waistband on there. But you can mark that however you want and then go from there. So cute and easy, and really does come together very quickly.
Oh my gosh, it is so adorable. So there are a few questions rolling in, but I'm gonna bring up the website so everyone can see that. You've got Brother Sews, by the way. There's a lot of good things going on there. Don't forget to visit your brother dealer before the end of the year. There's a ton of sales. And there's Emily's website, Life So Savory, and then mine, AngelaWolf.com. You can find a lot of good free tutorials of everything from making bags to making wreaths to sewing and embroidering. So some of you are asking, though, about the elastic. So let's have this quick chat.
Okay.
How wide was your elastic, Emily?
So this was 3/4 inch wide elastic that I just demonstrated with, because I had a nice long piece, but generally, ideally for pajamas, I like to use 1 inch elastic.
Okay, so that really brings out a big point. And there's a few people saying, sometimes I'll take 1 inch off the elastic and it's still too big, or I don't know. So I have found, and I don't know about you, but the thinner the elastic is, like if you get down to like 1/4 or even like a 1/2 inch, you have to stretch it more than the thicker elastic, because it just, I mean, if you tried a 1/4 inch piece and you wrapped it around and only took 1 inch off, your outfit would fall off.
Right. So I was just going to show you, but I don't have any of the other kind of elastic. So there are also different kinds of elastic, and some of it is stretchier than others. So, this is 1 inch knit elastic, and it is super stretchy. And what's the other kind? I'm trying to think, with the ribs in it.
It is ribbed. There's rib knit. There's athletic knit. Then there's oh my god.
I know there's
four kinds.
Yes, is it sport or the non-roll elastic? It's actually
non-roll.
It's pretty thick elastic, and it has like lines going this way in it. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if you're not specialty elastic stopping and you're just looking at the store, there are just usually a few basic kinds. But so this is thinner knit elastic that I have on both of these. So I will usually cut like 2 inches off my kids' waist measurements. That's kind of generally what I do.
They said, did you take half of the waist measurement? No, you take the waist measurement. And as she just mentioned, I'll start with 1 inch for an adult. And then keep cutting it down. I just like put it together, try it on, put it together. And also you have to take into account what size you're making. Because the more the elastic, the more it will stretch compared to like the little kids. And then also when you're doing it, you have to take into account how heavy is the fabric. So for a little kid, that's not a lot of heavy fabric. But if you're for an adult, you're going to need to take that elastic in more because, well, I don't know, pants on the ground. I think that was like kind of a thing.
You got to keep your pants up. So, feel your elastic too. If it's really stretchy, you're going to have to go a couple inches smaller than your waist, like Angela said. But if it's really strong, and I just looked, I don't have any of the other like stronger elastic that I use. I think it's the non-roll that's like sport, non-roll like sport. It's a much sturdier elastic, and it does not stretch near as much. So that I would definitely just start with like 1 inch off. And again, if you have a 40-inch waist, you might be able to cut 4 or 5 inches off because it's like 10% rather than if you have a 20-inch waist, you're not going to trim that much off.
I think the best thing is just to try it on and then just use a pin and tighten it, especially for kids. You don't have to, it's much easier for kids.
Yes, it is. It's much easier. And it's a little bit tricky if you're not with the kids that you are sewing for, and you're sewing for grandkids across the country or something like that. But you could always send a piece of elastic in the mail and just have them put around until it feels tight, like if you're really unsure, or thread the elastic through and leave that opening of the pants not sewn shut. And then you can just, do a quick little fix when you get with the grandkids or whatever. So,
that's a good idea.
It is trickier when you're not with the person you're sewing for, but it is very forgiving. And this sort of elastic, even if it's a little bit tight, it's just so stretchy that it's not going to like hurt the kid that's wearing it. So, just be flexible and try to just figure it out as you go.
So just remember, you can always make it smaller, but it's harder to make it bigger. But it's still not a loss. If you cut it too small, you can still add a little piece of elastic to a big piece of elastic. You got to get creative.
Yes. Okay. So I see Crystal asking about hip measurements, and
I did.
Yeah, that's okay. So kids, generally don't have large hips.
Oh, there we go.
So this pattern is loose, very loose. So if their, belly button measurement is within the pattern range of the size you're cutting out, 99% of the kids, their hip measurement is going to be in there. Now you get older, 11, 12, girls, especially, your hip is going to be taken into consideration. So you definitely would want to get a hip and a waist measurement. The waist measurement is still the one you'll use to cut the elastic, but that hip one is just one that you would use for reference to make sure that the size you chose is going to fit. But there are several inches of ease in this pattern. It is not fitted. It is not fitted.
So, I haven't used this button elastic. I've seen it a lot. Have you ever used that, Emily?
Yeah, I actually have a piece. I have a piece right here.
I've seen it. I think you did a tutorial on this. I
might have. This is actually really strong elastic too. It's way less stretchy than, say, this piece that I have here. This one stretches really easy, and this one is quite a bit stronger. So stretches less. So it's more expensive. So I don't usually just use it for waistband elastic unless I'm specifically adding a button to it. But if you happen to have a bunch of it, yes, you can absolutely just use this as regular elastic too.
Definitely. Oh, Peg,
you
that's
also
hilarious.
can make it adjustable. I just don't usually want to take that time and put it into my pajama pants.
Oh, Peg gave us a good laugh. When you can't sew for the one you're the one you sew for the one you're with. I love that. All right, Amanda, what about a drawstring instead of elastic?
Or both.
Sure.
Or both. So to add a drawstring, usually before I sew the waistband on or before you folded over the top of the pajama pants, I put 2 buttonholes in the front of the waistband. Okay. So you'd put them not at the top, you'd put them down here. And then when you folded it over, then those 2 buttonholes would be right in the front. And then you can just thread a shoelace or a cord or whatever you're using for your drawstring through even after you create the waistband. And you could do both elastic and that if you thread it through before you sew up any side seams or anything like that, tacking the elastic down. But you could definitely add a drawstring. Yeah.
Very cute. A lot of great ideas. Everybody's like, I cannot wait to do this. And guess what? She said if you start to finish, really 30 minutes. I mean, just book an hour so you can have some coffee.
Don't make the cuffs, just, make the straight up. It is really quick and easy. And you're using, for anyone shorter than 36 inches, it's about, a yard of fabric or 2 yards of fabric, because you take it, fold it in half, cut the 2 pieces, and there you go. So you need a little bit more for taller people, but for a lot of the kid sizes, you can get away with making this from 2 yards of flannel. And if you get it, on a good sale, flannel can be very inexpensive. So it can also be a fun. My mom now, because she's making 13 grandkids worth of pajamas, she'll shop after Christmas sales to try to get enough fabric for next Christmas to make their pajama pants. So,
great
just figure it out.
Yeah. And if you want holiday looking ones, right now, I just went to a fabric store and they had a 70% off sale. Yeah. So visit your brother dealer. A lot of them have fabrics. And if they want to get rid of their holiday stuff, that's a great time to stock up.
Yes.
Emily, this was an awesome tutorial. And all of you watching, by the way, you can watch this again if you're on Facebook, share it to your page. Yes. If you're on YouTube, you can go back and watch anytime. There's a lot of binge watching on there. And I hope we got all of your questions and comments. Those are so cute, Emily. Here's one more.
Oh, and I was just going to say, if you do a cuff and not a hem, one of the beautiful things about it is it's almost like adjustable length pajama pants, because, okay, so this is too long for my niece right now. You just fold it up. It still looks so cute. And then you can just unfold it and there's no wrong side showing. It literally gives you a lot more wear out of your pajamas with very little effort. And you don't even have to have exact maybe leg measurements then, because you could just fold up to where you want it to be.
Oh my gosh, so cute. So by the way, she is going to put a link in the comments, or you can go to her website down below. I just have it right there, Like So Savory.
I did put a link already when you were talking a minute ago. So just go ahead and scroll back if you don't see it. Only on Facebook, not on Pinterest, but you can just go to lifesosavory.com and search pajama pant, and you will find it.
You will find it, Crystal. It's in there, and you can go back and watch this too. And she did not cut them out, but she showed the pattern pieces, so it's pretty basic. Very basic.
Very basic.
All right, Emily.
I can show again. It's just this. It's really, literally this. It has a back scoop. It has a front scoop. This is what I folded over because I wasn't keeping the waist, or I was cutting that separate waistband. But normally you just fold over the top and add elastic, and there's the bottom of the leg. So simple.
Hey, Emily, for anybody who has the machine, you were on the what did you say? The
5200. Yep.
5200. Yeah. Do you know what stitch number that was that you were using?
Yes.
Deb wanted to know.
Still up on here. It's the 2-16 is what I had. And it's under decorative stitches.
All right. 2-16 on that machine. And it was very cute. It actually looked like a cover stitch to me.
So cute. Yeah, it turned out really cute. I do think next time I would maybe just lengthen the stitch a little bit so that the loops are a little farther apart, but it's fine either way. It's really cute. It's even up close. Really cute. Yeah.
Super fun. I just saw somebody asking about the red sequin fabric. Well, you're gonna have to wait for that because that's coming up this afternoon over on Sewing Machines Plus. Someone said put flannel inside so it's nice and soft. I'm gonna use fleece. Like a really thin fleece. But if I could have found flannel, I would have grabbed it. I just couldn't find the right color.
Yeah. So fun. Yay.
If I have extra fabric, I'll make Rose a skirt.
Okay. Oh, she would love that. Oh my gosh. Anything sparkly, she's like all over it. She's way fancier than I am. She like wants to wear high heels and makeup all the time. I'm like, you're 9, stop. No.
So much fun. Emily, what a great show. I'm very excited. We've got like 1 week to get ready.
So crazy.
I know. I'm going to have to go back. You had some great episodes last year on some quick, easy things to do before the holidays. Are most of them on your website?
Yes. So you can just search Christmas or anything like that, and it'll just kind of bring up all the things I've done. And, you know, I love making ornaments. So, I should show, I mean, some of you have probably seen this, but I used some of the free designs on the Art Spira app last week to make these really cute Christmas ornaments in these little mini hoops. So, and these were all,
those are cute.
These were all free cut files on the Art Spira app. But didn't those turn out so cute? And they were so easy to make. And then I just put like felt on the back so you couldn't see my mess, and glitter on the ribbon. So of course, this was probably one of the glittery days that my kids were like, you have glitter on your face. And then I used my scan and cut. It cut the felt. It cut this like faux glitter. I don't even know what it was. It's like a sheet of glitter fabric that was kind of stiff. Cut that just fine. So those were really fun Christmas things that I've been making too. So lots of fun things.
Those are really fast. I'm so glad you mentioned the Art Spira app because I was just on there. And did you all know that they've updated it with there's a ton of videos. Yes. A tree skirt video where everybody in the family signs their name. That was super cute.
So cute.
There were so many different fun things on there. And also you have the general shapes. And there's one that's a Christmas tree. Okay, hold on. I got to grab this one. I'm making this another tree skirt, right? This year I made 3. Hold on, I'll grab it. It turned out really cute.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, I saw on the app someone use this deer file and the stars to make a stocking, and it was really cute, but I didn't need another stocking. So I just love seeing what people are doing with the files, and then it inspires me to do something different. Like I wanted to make an ornament. So, but when I see the file shape being used, it's really inspiring. So even if you're like, I'm not going to make anything, definitely check out the photos and the tutorials on the app because they are so cute right now. And they're super inspiring for you to like think of other things that you could do with them. And the snowflake you could definitely carry into the new year. We do not need to be done with snowflakes right away.
No, and plus I leave my tree up till March because I just love the light. So here's one of the free designs. It was a Christmas tree.
Oh, I know.
And I just signed my name, and then I did Wynn's name.
Yes.
Now on the app, you can quickly change from just a straight stitch to a zigzag stitch.
Yeah.
And on this felt, I should have probably done a zigzag stitch for our name, but I can read it. And I'm still going to, this is just for a mini tree, but it's so cute. All
really
it is a piece of felt cut out. A little bit of embroidery fun.
Yeah. Actually, the embroidery designs were really cute. I don't yet have a machine that has the capability to use, the WLAN connectivity. So I can't use the embroidery files. So I'm just playing around with the cut files. But I was super impressed with the embroidery files too.
They're very cute. So don't forget to download your app. Have you downloaded it? We would love to know. And if you've done anything with these, make sure you would use hashtag Brothers Scan and Cut and hashtag Brothers Sews. They love to see what's going on. Oh, thanks, Zena. I was just kind of like, I have a mini tree in my office, and I was like, then I moved it home. And I thought, okay, so I bought a piece of felt, which is just like boring. It has a little bit of sparkles on it, but I had to do something. So I'm going to add trees all the way around. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Really fun. Yes. Love it. So many fun ideas.
No, it's not, Connie.
No, unfortunately.
I did mine. This was done on the SE 2000. So, and that's a 5x7 hoop. We've been talking about that machine. There's been some great deals on that. So
great.
It fit into the 5x7 hoop. I could have probably done more than one in there. You can still resize in there too. So there's a lot of options. Yeah. Everyone likes your ornaments.
Yeah, I know. They were really cute. I haven't hung them on the tree this year because I just had them up, but yeah, it's been good. I always love making ornaments.
Sounds fantastic. Well, Emily, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful show. Brother, thanks for letting your brand ambassadors take over and inspire everyone with some super fun projects.
Yes.
Pajama pants are definitely going on my list. I love those. And next on my list is a sparkled skirt. So
love a sparkled skirt. Yes. So I actually wore it to an event last night, a really full gold sparkle skirt, and it's going to be on the Brother blog soon. So stay tuned and check out that blog for it. But yes, sparkle skirts are the best.
Yes. And by the way, for those of you that did not know, Brother has a blog for the sewing side and the crafting side. Just go to brothersews.com. At the bottom, scroll down. There might be another link now, but at the bottom, it was both blogs. And there's a ton of stuff on there.
Yes, so much.
All right, Emily, this was so fun. Everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. There's still more live shows. So Tuesday, I will be on, and I should bring you with me, Emily. I will be on making gift bags, and I'm sure she will have some fun ideas for that. But a couple gift bags, last minute things. What do you have to put your gift in, right?
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but I went to the store recently to get a gift bag, and I could not believe the cost of them. And you have scraps of fabric everywhere. So save those, and I'll meet you on Tuesday and show you how to make quick, easy gift bags.
So fun.
So fun. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Emily, Merry Christmas. Nice to see you.
Merry Christmas. Bye.